It is Thursday and another busy day in the weather department. There is plenty to talk about out there from our Typhoon Sinlaku still impacting the Mariana Islands. Yeah, this thing, as of their Thursday night, typhoon warning still in place in Saipan and Tinian, which remarkable because you go all the way back to Monday night. That's when those warnings were first put up. They're just continuous for several days. Slow moving storm system over that. More severe weather being seen and in the forecast across parts of the Midwest and the Northeast of the United States, and hot and dry across the Southeast. That's the big topics here in this episode of Weather Impact Live. Let's start off with a look at our storm system, Sinlaku, now rated a very strong typhoon. That's from the Japan Meteorological Agency. It goes from strong to very strong to violent. Last few days has been at violent, up there at that super typhoon level, but now it is down to 105 miles per hour. But if you just take a look at some of these islands being impacted here, this has been going on for several days now. This right here is Saipan and Tinian, and that is Guam. Guam finally starting to see some improvements, but look at the rain bands still wrapping around some of these islands here, and they are still looking at typhoon gusts, tropical storm strength winds, just absolutely atrocious weather. We are seeing some dry air, though, start to work its way in on the left side of this storm system and kind of infiltrate it. Still moisture combating it on the east side. So all these islands, by the way, see this whole island chain, most of these are uninhabited. There are a couple dozen people that live on them, but not a lot. A lot of that is just uninhabited islands. Some of them are bombing ranges for the military. So no big populations being impacted by this directly, but I'm sure there's a weather station out here. I mean, you got right front quadrant, easily over 100-mile-per-hour winds being felt in some of these areas. And I want to show you a video out of Saipan during the peak of this storm, what 100-mile-per-hour winds looks like there on the ground, because it's absolutely incredible. Yeah, right here, actually sent to me somebody after that storm passed. And you gotta remember, this was at the peak of the storm, so this was likely 140, 150 mile per hour wind. But the typhoon strength, aka hurricane, same storm system, same strength with a different name, was being felt here for over 48 hours. So it's been more or less conditions like this for 2 straight days. That is absolutely incredible, just because of the slow nature of the storm system. It's been easily only moving at 3 to 5 miles per hour, now picking its pace at a whopping 9 miles per hour. Most of us can easily jog that. It's absolutely incredible. The good news is a lot of the homes out here are built for this, but the infrastructure, it is, but it's not. So power lines, power outages across most of Mariana, 200,000 part of the United States have been impacted by this, and it's going to be ahead for the Coast Guard, the U.S. Navy, the Coast Guard, all that come out here. Remote islands, of course, in the Saipan, Northern Mariana Islands, and Guam, which, do remember, part of the United States this storm system, just as much as we were covering hurricane that was hitting the East Coast. Let's pull back the picture, though. We got, of course, the forecast still at 105 miles per hour, moving north, as I mentioned, at 9 miles per hour now. Expect that pace to continue to pick up as it pulls away towards the north. You can even see here, as of recording this on Thursday night, tropical storm strength winds just still skirting the northern coastline of Tinian here. Then it's going to pull off there, move south of Japan, and head out to sea. But you take a look actually at the futurecast, kind of that broader picture. Yeah, pulling off, but still some of those rain bands kind of filtering in on the backside of the storm system, with the main points being widespread damage over the Mariana Islands, still slowly pulling off towards the north, but conditions are slowly starting to improve for them out here. But yeah, still very strong, dangerous, and potent storm system here. Also, a reminder, 47 days now till the start of hurricane season in the Atlantic. And that's important to note because this storm system could actually kind of kick off the El Nino, which is going to impact our hurricane season in the Atlantic. So even if you are like, okay, well, I'm tracking this typhoon, that's the other side of the world, I don't care about it. First off, you should. Let's care about our neighbors and friends out there. But second, it in a roundabout way will influence the weather in the Atlantic Ocean and hurricane season. And let's break down and set the stage here for you. So we have the ENSO phases. We've been in a La Nina, and that has the reason why the last few years we've had an above average hurricane season. Now we're in a neutral ENSO setup. Basically, the waters in the Pacific Ocean are kind of equally distributed. We're heading into an El Nino. Now, simply put, with an El Nino, the water temperatures start to become warmer than average in the eastern Pacific versus the western Pacific. You get an enhanced westerly flow from west to east, and it starts to pile up the waters. So what is kind of and likely kicking this off, though, because we're expecting this already, but think of like if you have a lawnmower and you a pull start and you get that started and it starts going. So you need that initial kind of burst of energy. Sinlaku and another storm system called Mila was stirring out here in the Solomon Sea, just south of the equator, for over a week and a half. Then you had this super typhoon Sinlaku, which just absolutely causing devastating conditions across the Mariana Islands. This is creating an initial wind burst, which is helping to push along, and it looks like these two cyclones are going to help start off the El Nino in those winds and help push those warmer waters further towards the east and increase the above average water temperatures on the eastern Pacific. What does this mean for hurricane season? Well, typically when you get those above average water temperatures in the eastern Pacific, it helps increase that easterly flow, and that increases wind shear and tears storms apart in the Atlantic, specifically the main formation region and across the Caribbean. Thus, if you get any tropical systems, they will tend to form a little bit further north, maybe into the Gulf of Mexico or off the eastern Atlantic, and that gives them less time to develop into stronger storms. So, yeah, it's all connected, and it's really interesting how a system in the Western Pacific, in the Southern Pacific near Australia, in April can influence our weather pattern in the Atlantic months later. So this is actually the official forecast from the Colorado State University, CSU. They put this out every year. They're pretty good at this. They're saying below average number of storms, 13, 6, and 2 on the 30-year average, closer to average on the 100-year average, but recently we've been, since oceans are warming, it's empirical data, this would be above average for the 100-year, but point is it's basically at or just slightly below average because we have an El Nino in place and a few other factors, but that's one of the big reasons here. So let's look at the tropics out here in the Western Pacific and the Atlantic, and let's bring it back to the United States. And of course, high pressure ridge still dominating across the southeast. But what's interesting is you see all those storms off towards the north. This ridge has really been set up, and it's creating basically this flow coming around it. So what we're seeing is all this moisture getting pumped out of the Gulf, but it's staying dry across the southeast. So that moisture has been wrapping around, creating heavy rainfall, some severe weather in spots here. And yeah, it's been a rough go for a lot of these areas. In fact, let's take a look at some flood video out of, I believe, Wisconsin. We have here where another round of thunderstorms dumped some heavy rainfall there across that area. Wednesday night, Brian is South Milwaukee. Major roads, including Interstate 43, 4, were shut down for hours after the water covered a lot of the roadways. Corey's urging me to out. They kind of are. But yeah, it's you know, always remember that silly saying. I know a lot of you think it's silly. Turnarounds don't count. And I say that because, you know, sometimes, yeah, this is Milwaukee. Sometimes like those roads can be washed out. So I think, oh, it's only deep, but you don't know what's under that floodwater. It's hard to see. It might be awful. That's right. Simple. And yeah, just don't know. Let's come back to the graphics here, though. Take a look actually at some of the reports that we're seeing, because not just the radar, but also we have these high wind, damaging conditions, even tornado reports. Look at that. Look at that. Multiple tornado reports 2 days straight. Actually, here we go. Let's go further towards the east. This is in my hometown of Western New York. They actually had, doesn't look like it's been officially declared yet, but they did have a serious storm, and it looks like they probably had a tornado out there last night with down power lines in that area and some pretty serious damage in some spots that typically don't get it. But my point is, this whole line of severe weather rolling from west to east, and even some large hail in Indiana. This video is incredible. I'm gonna show you like this powerful hailstorm in Indiana where this was set up. It's pretty wild. Just that's the type of stuff. If you are stuck outside, dangerous. Oh, this stuff is frustrating. Just like the vehicle shields get broken in this type of storm system. The plants and drops are so any animals outside do that can't find shelter. Not to mention, of course, people stuck outside. This is Grant County. Nearly everyone is 6 miles radius. Dozens of damage. That just proves fields boiling for the that is an absolute incredible, scary stuff. Let's come back and take a look actually at the size of some of this hail. So when you're looking at hail that size, golf ball size, maybe up to tennis ball size, you got to remember what uplift, and uplift is the vertical motion in the atmosphere. The higher the wind speed being pushed up with these this hail, the larger the hailstone. 70 to 80 miles per hour in some of those. I mean, if you even got egg size, that's up near 80 miles or 70 miles per hour. That is the upward vertical motion inside the storm. It just shows the incredible amount of energy it takes to disrupt and make these storm systems absolutely massive. Incredible images there coming out of Indiana. So on the calmer side of things, you can see really where the demarcation line is in this graphic. Colder off towards northwest and hot and dry in the southeast. Malcolm, behind our scenes here. I would like to take a break, though. Let's go for a break. We're going to come back, and we're going to finish up here with the local weather across Jacksonville and the First Coast. So we'll be back in just a minute. Don't go anywhere just yet. Continue to keep you informed here on Weather Impact Live.
That is the Protector.
This truck is a beast.
It's got all the tools on it. I love how big the tires are.
And this is going to be able to show you the weather around the First Coast like you've never seen it before.
The Protector really is going to help protect the community.
So you can see what it looks like on the ground. And that allows folks to really take action and do something about it.
And it gives us that edge in continuing to be the most accurate weather team.
Sponsored by HananiaAutos.com.
I'm Keitha Nelson. Good morning, Jacksonville anchor and mom of twins, Journey and Trey. I'm on your side, getting you out the door and off to a great start. Make the move to Good Morning Jacksonville on First Coast News. Weekdays from 4:30 to 9, anywhere you watch.
First Coast Living Live.
Bringing you closer to the tastiest food.
The best shopping.
And family fun.
Woo!
Jordan Wilkerson and David Benfield. First Coast Living Live. Weekdays at 11 a.m. only on NBC 12.
We have new details about a heavy police presence in Jacksonville Beach. driver fired gunshots along the interstate today, prompting a police chase.
Stream extended coverage on First Coast News Plus.
The First Coast News weather team is here to deliver your most accurate forecast with weather impact alerts to warn you about severe weather and up-to-the-minute information on First Coast News Plus.
The wave of moisture rolls its way on in here.
Our team is the most equipped and experienced to help you prepare and keep you safe.
The First Coast News weather team is always on your side. Stream extended coverage on First Coast News Plus.
My mission is to help you get to where you're going safely. Whether it's helping you beat the backup on 95 or navigating the slowdown on JTB, we've got you covered. Make the move to Good Morning Jacksonville on First Coast News. Weekdays live from 4:30 to 9, anywhere you watch.
Hey, welcome back, and let's talk about the weather here across the southeast. Now, first off, this line between the cold air and the hot air in the southeast, and you see off towards northwest. Look at Montana, 18 degrees. That's in Fahrenheit, by the way, for our international audience. That is cold. Casper is at 57. Salt Lake City's at, they warmed up. They just went from 18 to 20. Look at that. So this whole line and difference between the hot air and the cold air, it's creating, of course, that battle zone right in the middle. Severe weather we've seen the last few days. You see here on Friday, another round of severe weather across the Midwest with large hail, even tornadoes are still possible. This is typical for April heading into May. I mean, this severe weather season, but across the southeast, we've been spoiled a bit. High pressure ridge continuing to dominate. That is part of the Bermuda high, just creating a hot, steamy, and dry conditions across the First Coast over the course of the past several days and still over the course of the next several days. We could be looking at record-breaking temperatures at times out here. We also have this drought still ongoing. In fact, some of the driest weather on record over a 6-month period across parts of the First Coast, creating this exceptional drought across the Swanee Valley, the I-75 corridor, even in the Jacksonville, still an extreme drought. It's just way below average rainfall. We need a good soaking, and that's what kind of the I-4 corridor you can see closer to Orlando from the Space Coast down there on the southern portion of this graphic. They did get it last week. They got the stationary boundary that's set up, created some flooding conditions at times, but it did break the drought for them. Not getting that further towards the north and not getting it in the foreseeable future. This front that we've been watching off towards the northwest is slowly going to drift towards the south and east. But by the time it gets closer, all this dry air is kind of breaking it apart. And it's not going to be providing much relief on Sunday into Monday outside of maybe a few local raindrops. It's just not a lot. And thus, the fire weather risk continues to remain in place because we have breezy conditions. It's hot, it's dry. And then you had this drought that's been ongoing. And we actually had some late season frost on top of that. So you get these combinations, that late season frost killed off some of the plants that were still holding on. So you have a lot of dead vegetation. You got dry conditions. Any fire that starts can spread very, very quickly. And that's why we're at this critical fire weather danger, or at least near critical, over the upcoming week because of all of these factors combined here across the First Coast. So it is dry, it is hot, it is a little bit of a breeze, but not a lot, but the humidity is down here, and this is why burn bans are in place. We haven't seen any red flag warnings. The humidity needs to get a little bit lower, but I can tell you, if any fire does start in some of these more dry areas, they spread pretty quickly, and we had that with the Sargent fire out there in Baker County. Over 2,000 acres burnt this past week, and they're still now just starting to get that completely under control here. So that's one of the other impacts here that we're watching. Take a look at the 5-day rainfall forecast, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. A tiny chance of rainfall on Sunday, but my goodness, it is only isolated. And Monday there, it is few and far between. You take a look at the wildfire and record heat we're seeing. So Friday, we got a high of 92, Saturday 93, Sunday 93, which could be at least near to record-breaking warmth ahead of our front that's going to move through by Sunday night into Monday morning. And that front will cool things down. So if you don't like the heat, well, then just hold on. We're going to have some of those cooler temperatures by the early part of next week. So lots of ups and downs here throughout this extended forecast as well. So By the way, on Sunday, ahead of this front, it's going to be hot, but we do have a rocket launch coming up. I do want to also point this out. If you are going to be heading out to Cape Canaveral, a lot of people talking about space stuff because we just had that fantastic Artemis mission just return. Well, Blue Origin, which is Amazon, Blue Origin, they are going to be launching from Cape Canaveral the Blue Origin Space Mobile Bluebird 7, which is it's like a Starlink satellite, but it's different. Anyway, it's supposed to improve communication through space comms. It's kind of neat. And yeah, that's what they're going to be launching there at 6:45 a.m. on Sunday. So it'll be a sunrise launch, which is always pretty cool to see there. You might be able to get that pre-sunrise jellyfish cloud or something like that. It's always kind of neat to witness if you haven't seen one. If you're on the First Coast, you've probably seen more than enough rocket launches, but every single one I think is kind of neat. And if you spot them out there, you can always kind of check them out. So yeah, got a few people watching right now. Hey, I do want to come back. We got 5 minutes. Let's come back to our typhoon on the other side of the world. Of course, talking about the local weather and how hot and dry it is on the First Coast, but still, once again, a reminder, here it is on Thursday night into Friday morning, some of these islands out west, let's see, out west, Western Pacific, other side, but they are American islands. They're part of the United States, and they are going to need help out here. It is still like several days of continued impacts to some of these northern islands. You still see the winds wrapping around, and I wonder if the reports are back up at the airport. At Anderson, I mean, this is several days, 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gust. On Saipan, the last report that they put out before their weather station went down was up to 110 miles per hour. That went down right when the center of that storm system pushed directly overhead of that island. So it is going to be a long time for them recovering from this storm system. And if you go back to 2018 with Super Typhoon U2, it actually hit the same spot. They were still recovering. Actually seen there's an elementary school on Saipan, which was destroyed during that typhoon, and they've been in temporary tents since then for some of the classrooms. Those tents have been ripped apart. It's this repeated nature of back-to-back storms. And then even go back to 2023, Super Typhoon Mawar hit Guam, which is home to about 150,000 Americans out there, including one of the largest military bases in the world, Anderson. They also been impacted by this storm and that storm. So you got to remember, the U.S. is pretty big, and first landfalling tropical system of 2026 in the United States with this one, this very strong and dangerous typhoon. Now it is moving slowly off towards the north, at least, finally kind of getting a move on. But I'm going to take a moment to just remind everybody, as we are just over a month away from hurricane season, we're talking about this storm on the other side of the world, is to remember that, check on your neighbors out here. That's a key thing. Even if you're being impacted by a storm or any typhoon, stay alert after the storm has passed here. Watch for down power lines, floodwaters, things like that. Down power lines going to be a big issue. Power is out on every single one of those islands. And this is still good advice for anybody on the East Coast, including here on the First Coast. Generator safety, only use those outdoors, please. 20 feet away from your home is the smart option if you can. If they're in the garage, please have that garage door open or carport or something like that. Make sure they're ventilated. We don't want any deaths from carbon monoxide poisoning after the fact here. And communication outages, we're already seeing that. You can use radios for updates, some of those wind-up ones if you have those available, generators, power banks, but I'm sure those are going to be running out soon, and I expect power to be down in some of these locations for days, if not weeks here. So always remember, and this is more so for advice for people on the First Coast, determine your risk. Prepare now before a storm does arrive, and know how to get those forecasts ahead of any tropical systems when they do start to happen. Of course, you can follow us at First Coast News, but make sure you know how to get official information, or like who is your local authority in front of evacuations as well. Also, on the left side of this, share your plan, but keep documents together. One quick little tip is anytime ahead of a storm system, and this is good advice for anybody, is take photos around your house. That way, if God forbid your house is destroyed or severely damaged, you can show the insurance company, hey, this is what my house looked like before, and this is what it looked like after. So there's no like, oh, was that hole already in your roof? Like, no, this was a photo dated on this day, and this was it 5 days later. It sounds silly, but sometimes that is a very simple thing that you can do to help relieve a little bit of stress in the long run here. So as we're talking about, the storm center side of the Pacific, maybe some advice for even thinking about hurricane season coming up, as mentioned, in 47 days from now. So once again, I am meteorologist Robert Speta. I really appreciate you guys following along here with this typhoon and of course, the severe weather across the United States and all of this heat we're continuing to see here locally on the First Coast here in Jacksonville, Florida. And I hope everybody's staying cool. I hope you have a great weekend coming up here. Wherever you are, you're staying safe and, just being able to get along and, but thanks for following along here. 4:30, we have Weather Impact Live coming up, as well as 5, 6, 7, and 11 here on First Coast News as well. As always, thanks for watching, and stay safe out there, friends.